Son Ryan is 9 months old, and when he was a newborn infant, he would throw up after feedings, and it wasn't just normal baby spit up. He would be, like throwing up across the room.
When we started this, there was, in our small community, we were the first people ever diagnosed with FPIES. We had to go through 2 different major hospitals in Northern California with UCSF and Stanford, and it took us a long time, like 6 months, to get him diagnosed.
In the beginning, I was really scared. I didn't know what was going on. She would just go limp. She would be throwing up. Her body would, just be like in shock almost.
I would say that first 6 months to a year was the scariest time for me in my life, and I know in our family, because it was the unknown. And at the time, he was thriving fairly well, but then when he started having reactions, he wasn't, and that's the scariest thing as a dad.
With my older son, it was it took 8 months to get a diagnosis, and it was very traumatic. It was the worst experience of my life.
This conference is a great opportunity for families to learn more about food protein-induced enterocolitis syndrome, and also for the speakers, the physicians and nurses and various speakers, to actually hear about what families are interested in learning about. In any event, there's a lot of information and misinformation out there about food protein-induced enterocolitis syndrome, and so this really gives us an opportunity to talk about what we know, talk about what we don't know, and really for everyone to get educated.
What's nice to see here is a consolidated effort by the physicians in the field to join together with the International Association for FPIES to do the research in a structured setting.
So my personal experience with my own son having FPIES really fueled the passion to start an organization like this. My son had seen probably 7 to 8 different specialists before he came here to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and was diagnosed. And when I went through those 2 years, I went through a roller coaster of emotions. I was scared. My son was really sick. And when you go and you see a medical provider and they keep dismissing what you're seeing, it's incredibly, incredibly frustrating, and the worry just can consume your life. So at that time, if you would have done a Google search on FPIES, there was only one video that came up and there was no information. And that puzzled me and made me want to do something about it.
We found it on the internet, just looking up symptoms, and we got to chat. It's nice to see all the doctors and hear their point of view and what's happening for FPIES, especially for the children long term.
The opportunity for families to sit next to each other and have a conversation about their child, and you don't have to start with an explanation. You don't have to say, this is the food allergy, but it's not the kind with the EpiPen, and it's not that kind of a food allergy. It's a terrible thing, and it's an awful reaction, but you don't have to start the conversation with an explanation. Everybody in that room knows what you're up against because they've experienced that. And that sense of camaraderie and community is huge. So the opportunity to meet people who are experiencing what you're experiencing is very, very important. In addition, there's an immense amount of education and knowledge being shared in that room.
It sounds small, but having it now, the disease is recognized. It was not recognized, theoretically recognized by insurance companies. Now it is recognized by insurance companies. It is a disease that exists. We can figure out now how to, theoretically, we can bill for it now. We could have billed it before, but it was get billed under other entities. We can track it for epidemiological purposes, how many cases are, how long it exists. So it is a huge deal.
And parents and families are really the most important piece here, because they could spearhead a lot of the action, and so that they could spread the word out there about FPIES, so that doctors would start paying attention to it, and those who know about it start doing more research about it, so we could help more people.
First of all, this is the first time I got to meet a bunch of fathers. I've met maybe 2 or 3 in the passing, but I actually got to sit down and talk with a bunch of them, share stories.
And so I think just staying positive and knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel is the most important.
But I feel hopeful being here that I'm going to get more information to be able to help him better.
These doctors are looking for solutions. They're not alone. There's education happening. Their own local physicians are going to get better educated. These kinds of conferences, and the fact that CHOP is hosting a conference like this, in and of itself already gives it a good name. And so you know that the top doctors in the country are on this.
I think it's really wonderful for many reasons. One is that it really builds a community. You can tell that people in the room are looking at each other and looking around and making connections, and for many of them it's probably the first time they've met other families going through the same thing. And I think it's just great to be able to give patients and families the access to these medical providers, which they're experts in the field and potentially have year-long wait lists, who knows, but they can now interact with them in a way that's, comfortable and friendly.
I would say don't stress out about it, because when they get older, they'll learn how to handle it. Like, for me, it's not even, people always ask me, my friends, they always ask, so you can't eat this? That's so bad, that's terrible, you can't eat chocolate or whatever. It's really not such a big deal, because I'm used to it that way. It's not like I've been eating this all my life and all of a sudden the next day I can't eat it. So you get used to it, and the child, they'll learn how to handle it and work with it. It's not even such a big deal. Oh, I can't eat this amazing food. It's not like, I don't think of it that way. So
This conference is great because it gives a chance for parents to hear about this problem that they're living with every day with their children, and it gives the speakers a chance to discuss the problem with people who are living it. So a lot of education in both directions, but as an organization, some of the key things that are already being achieved and will continue to improve life for everyone with this is the advocacy that's associated with it, the education, and also research, increasing research as well. And so with better education, advocacy, and research, we're going to be in much better shape to be able to find better treatments and diagnostic tests for this.